Hi everyone, this is Suresh here. I'm the head of digital integration at Roche. Thanks for joining the session. So today we are going to look at about the topic Reimagine integration with APIs and events. So the content, so I'm going to talk about why a greenfield integration strategy is required and how APIs and events are going to contribute to that, and also how it is going to be a key enabler for composable enterprise. And subsequently, I'm going to speak about the integration value chain, how APIs and events are going to help it, and about the integration maturity model, and finally, the key takeaways. So to start with, about the integration strategy, why we need to do it with a greenfield approach. So on the first box on the left, the composable enterprise and the hyper specialization. So in one of the recent Deloitte and Salesforce, the digital report, there is a mention about almost every organization is having near to 1,000 applications. So in Roche as well, we do have more than 1,000 plus applications, and all of them, or rather, at least most of them, need to talk to each other. And the concept of composable enterprise is nothing but it's also a mindset change and also interchangeable building blocks. Quite a number of organizations are building a composable enterprise. Roche is no different. We are also doing it quite aggressively. And with this concept of hyper specialization and composable enterprise, integration is quite a key. So that is where a greenfield strategy with respect to this composable enterprise and hyper specialization is important. On the second block, in the same report which I have mentioned, there is a mention about more than 50% of the organization is moving towards from a project to the product approach. So it is very important we need to reimagine integration as well, how to support the whole organization's product approach, because you need a lot of decentralized delivery model as well. And the data mesh is quite a new concept in Roche. Also, we are adopting it quite heavily. Data as a product, and if you see for data as a product, you need to have an input port and output port. And output port, APIs and events are one of the key contributors in the data product output port. And the third block, quite a lot of digital initiatives. It's the CEO of Microsoft said that every company is an IT company. It's not that you are a pharma or a financial thing. On top of it, every company is becoming an IT company. So that is how you can make a differentiation. And now IT is getting more embedded into the business. And moving forward, citizen development is going to be the part and parcel of our day-to-day life in IT. And also quite a lot of organizations making a journey to the cloud. And the S4HANA, the modern ERP implementation, quite a lot of companies are incorporating it. Roche also have gone live with the pilot, the S4HANA implementation. So all put together, to support all these digital initiatives, we need to have a greenfield integration strategy, and we need to reimagine how we do the integration. The last but not the least, the connected devices and social media scenario. So you need to connect to lots of omnichannels and mobile devices, IoTs. So for that also, you need to have a different type of integration. So considering all these perspectives, I would rather say it is very important that the integration function is a key enabler in all these four blocks. And it is very much important that we need to have a greenfield strategy with API and event-led approach. So to zoom in on the API and event-led, so these are the tale of two paradigms. In Roche, we have incorporated the combination of both API-led and event-driven. So API-led is for north-south traffic. It is used primarily for request reply and on-demand scenarios. And also, if you need a technical transformation and orchestration, you need to use API-led. So event-driven in the case of a push, streaming, and also there is quite a lot of data streaming use cases as well. And also fanning out, subscribe and publish and subscribe scenarios, quite a lot of things where we need event-driven as well. Both are complementary to each other. It is not that one is good and another one is bad. Both need to coexist to give the best reusable integration pattern. So here in the slide, Quite a number of organizations do have a spaghetti scenario where we don't have an integration catalog or for the integration asset catalog. And it's very much important, it's a high time we need to move away from this complex spaghetti scenario or a complex scenario to move into a connectivity network using API and events. And the way we need to build the APIs and events is like a digital product. So if you look at it, if I take an example, in indirect procurements, if you are building a purchase order API or you are building a supplier event master, so those should not be treated like a tool for enterprise connectivity. Those should be treated as like a digital product. So from my perspective, it is more like an enabling product. The same product manager who's owning, say, the procurement function should be owning those APIs and events as well. So that is where I'm calling it as an enabling product. APIs and events are enabling products. So if it is a enabling or a digital product, so those needs to be cataloged and that should be a marketplace. So that is where the APIs and events can embrace the FAIR principles, that is findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable via the integration marketplace. So it is going to be a one-stop shop where it's kind of an Amazon.com kind of an experience. Any user in the company needs to log in, need to see what are the digital assets available. So they should have a provision to request for access, and the product manager should approve or reject that request. And also they should have a try it kind of a feature, and it should be like a collaboration and or a community portal kind of a thing. The feature should be there. So it is quite important. The integration marketplace plays a big role in ensuring that the democratization of integration and also for fastening the digital initiatives and to create more and more digital products. It is very important that we need to have an integration marketplace. It should be there. So in Roche, this is a very good example where we have used both API-led integration and event-driven architecture, both hand in hand. This is for a batch master scenario where we do have quite a lot of customers create the batch master using the API-led approach, and also quite a lot of 3PLs and the other quality management systems or regulatory management systems consuming the event by subscribing to the required topics. So I'm shifting the focus onto the event-driven part. What is the vision we have in Roche? It's this is the first in the industry what we are doing it. So on the left-hand side is the journey for the publisher or the event product manager, where our expectation is the event product manager need to configure the topic taxonomy and generate the async API spec in the portal and upload all the credentials using a self-service capability in the respective event portal. So step 2, what we are looking forward is the platform administrator of the event-driven architecture need to approve or reject. Once it is approved, the expectation is it should get auto-deployed in the event-driven architecture platform. And subsequently, by click of a button, our expectation is the event product manager should publish that event as a digital asset in the integration marketplace. So it means that we don't need to have any technical developers or any technical experts doing it. The functional business partner or the functional product manager need to do the entire journey in a self-service way. So currently we are working with our product event-driven architecture partner to achieve this vision. So there's a 2-step approach. This is the step 2, but the first step, in the interim, we are trying to automate whatever the vision mentioned here, at least 80% of the flow we are trying to automate it here. So our plan to go live is in the later part of the year. So the vision is to have that event as a digital product. So from a consumer perspective, they should log on to the integration marketplace. And if they find a suitable event digital product, they should register a request. The product manager of the event should approve or reject the request based on the merit or the justification. So our vision is once the product manager approves the request, it should get auto-deployed in the platform. Then once it is approved, the event consumer should have a provision of downloading the async API spec from the integration marketplace, because we want to convert every event into an async API spec. So they should have a provision to download that async API spec from the integration marketplace. So finally, the consumer should generate the async API code specific for the consuming application and configure it so that the event starts flowing into the consuming app. So it means that, let us say, on a morning 9 o'clock, if a consumer decides that need to get it, maybe by the afternoon, the event should start flowing in. So no need for any developer, no need for any technical configuration. So it should happen in a self-service manner. Similarly, if a product manager need to publish it in a matter of few hours in a self-service manner, they should be able to publish it within a day. So that is the vision we are trying to achieve it. As I said, it is a two-step process. It's one, like with an 80% automation, we are trying to achieve it by later part of the year. So this is a full self-service capability, and we are enabling the path for citizen integrators and also for the business process experts. So this is where I want to reimagine the integration with APIs and events, how it can make a difference in the business value. If you look at it, traditionally, integration is seen as a tool for enterprise connectivity. So that is of the bottom part of it, which is very tactical. So when the time progresses, the people started using APIs and events for integration, plus there's quite a number of reuses there. Of course, when you do a reuse, there's a cost savings. And finally, getting into as a not only as a tool for integration APIs and events, and beyond reuse, we should be treating it as a product, and the product should have its own life cycle. And as I said earlier, the product should have a product manager from the business domain or the functional perspective. And overall, it should help for cost savings and faster time to market. Because in the current scenario, quite a lot of the digital initiatives, what is more important is getting faster, the innovations faster to the market is quite important. Plus, improving the value chain, use the APIs and events for a better employee and also for customer experiences. And in Roche, we have seen that there are new opportunities. I mean, the new business opportunities, for example, creating a new sales channel. In the case of a diabetes care, earlier we were not having an e-commerce sales channel. So we were able to start with one e-commerce vendor, and in a matter of less than a week, we are able to go into a new e-commerce provider. And further up in the integration value chain, how we can make a difference to the society and to the patients. One of the great examples is with an APIs, we are able to bring the time to therapy for patients by at least 50%. And we have started with one product, and we are going to expand it to quite a number of products there. So it means that we are making a difference to the society, to the API and event-led approach. So traditionally, we were looking at only as a tool for enterprise connectivity or for reuse purposes, but we need to reimagine of using integration with APIs and events to see that how we can create more and more business values. So coming to the integration maturity model, earlier, quite a number of companies were in the early, the scenario one, which is in the crawl. No firm integration strategy, mostly point-to-point, few integration technologies like ESBs. I hope quite a number of organizations moved away from crawl to walk. So there you have a recognized integration discipline, and you have some strategic integration tools, some best practices, ESB. Quite a number of companies are in the walk, but I think many of the companies are moving into the run block, where you have a firm integration competency center in place, and you have a future-proof integration strategy being set up, and you have a hybrid integration technologies using the iPaaS, APIs, and event-led and being implemented. So I see quite a lot of things in my interaction with the peers. Quite a number of people are moving from the walk to run, or they are in the journey from walk to run. But our aim should be to go into the sprint block, where we need to have an integration marketplace, where we should have a less of centralized and more of a decentralized one with the self-service and democratization of integration across the entire organization. And integration should be embedded into the digital culture of the whole organization. And more importantly, moving away from using APIs and events as a tool for enterprise connectivity, it should be treated as a product. That is very important in the sprint one. Plus, invest more and more on the emerging technologies like async API for events, GraphQL capabilities, where the current REST APIs are more for producer-centric. For consumer-centric GraphQL API capabilities, citizen integrator. This is for both events and APIs, where you need to have a citizen integrator capabilities, how the respective business process expert or the functional product manager can deliver their own APIs and events. That is more important. And as I said in the last slide, we should think about how integration can improve the value chain and creating more and more business values. So in Roche, we have moved away from walk to sprint in less than 2.5 years. So it's quite possible it is a right effort, right team, and right investment is required to move away from walk to the sprint place. Otherwise, we'll be losing on the competition, and to have a thriving ecosystem and also to drive more and more digital initiatives, it's very important that we need to move into the sprint maturity level in the integration. Coming to the last slide, so a few key takeaways I would like to emphasize. The first one, for the above said reasons about hyper specialized applications, composable enterprise, plus more and more digital initiatives, modern ERP, so on and so forth, it is imperative that we need to go for a greenfield integration strategy, and that too with focus on API-led and with the event-driven architecture, and move away from the concept of using the integration or APIs and events as a tool for enterprise connectivity. Treat it as a product, and the product should have its own life cycle. And if it is a digital product, it should have a product manager from the respective business domain or the functional domain. You need to have it. So that is the second point I want to re-emphasize. Integration marketplace. So if you want to treat APIs and events as a digital product, obviously for a bigger adoption across the enterprise, you need to have a marketplace for publishing in APIs events, and it should embrace the FAIR principles. Last but not the least, at least once in a year or once in 2 years, continuously do the maturity assessment and ensure that you are moving up the ladder to the sprint. Thanks for watching.